Welcome to the 2022 U.S. and U.S. Women's Chess Championship. Please welcome Executive Director of the St. Louis Chess Club, Tony Rich.
Hello everyone and welcome to the opening ceremony for the 2022 U.S. Chess Championship and the 2022 U.S. Women's Chess Championship. I'm Tony Rich and I'm the Executive Director of the St. Louis Chess Club, and I would like to welcome you all to St. Louis. The U.S. Championships are events that we hold in St. Louis, and we've been doing so since 2009. Over that time, we've given away millions of dollars in prize money. We've awarded national championship titles to many of America's best men and women, and we look forward to doing so again in about 2 weeks. The U.S. Championships are always our bread and butter. You know, they're really the events that we've come to love, not just because they represent elite competition. It also represents some of the very best chess players, not just in the country, but in the world. But more importantly for us, it's like family coming back to St. Louis. So on behalf of the St. Louis Chess Club team and all the staff, I would like to say, welcome home to all the chess players. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you one of the co-founders of the St. Louis Chess Club. Dr. Jeannie Singfield has been responsible for such publications as Learn to Read and Write Chess. It's been translated now into lots of languages. I'm sure Jeannie, how many languages now? 11 languages. So this isn't just how to play chess. This is how we speak chess. It's how we read chess. It's how to be literate in the game of chess. And we need to be literate in order to be professionals. So Jeannie, if you would do us the honor of joining us on stage now.
Well, welcome to St. Louis, the chess capital of America. So I was I was thinking about the fun stuff we've done here in the state to make the United States and the Missouri be the chess capital. And I was looking back at Irina Krush. I was the one who taught the first chess merit badge to any scouts in America. And Irina Krush was the first one to teach a chess merit badge to girls who, when they could first join scouts, to become Eagle Scouts. So that's out to Irina. So, and I know I'm going to take a little line around from Mr. Bauer, and it's up to 250,000. Okay, and I'm looking out in the audience in that little booklet I wrote, which is available in 11 languages. I want to shout out to Christian Shirilla for translating it into Romanian, and to Wesley So's family for getting the translation into Filipino. I helped on the Indonesian. And Alejandro here, I think he did Spanish. Like it's funny, 11 languages. So, and for those of you, the latest one is Swahili. Anyway, my job is to introduce Rex. So you're looking at me and thinking, what am I going to say now, right? Well, I do want you to know that Rex is back sort of playing chess with 16 games a day, you know. So not that he's going to beat you, but there's life, there's hope. So I would like to introduce now as the fairy godmother of U.S. chess, the godfather of American chess.
Well, thank you, Jeannie, and welcome players to the 2022 Chess Championships, and congratulations to the 2021 World Chess Hall of Fame inductees and the 2022 U.S. Chess Hall of Fame inductees. Jeannie and I are thrilled that the championships have a little more meaning this year, given that U.S. Chess has moved their headquarters to St. Louis. Congratulations and welcome. We wanted to hold this opening at Union Station because U.S. Chess's new offices are located in the building inside the parking lot where you parked this evening. It's nice to have the players meeting in their offices to showcase their new location just before opening night. I would also like to mention that St. Louis is the site, will be the site, of the 2022 World Series. I also want to mention that although we have a variety of delays, we have received finally approval and permits from the City of St. Louis and will begin starting construction in the near future, and will be growing from 6,500 square feet to 30,000 square feet, and plan to hold the 2023 U.S. Championships in the new space. Lastly, I want to thank all of the staff and vendors for putting on such a wonderful evening. In particular, the people who help make everything run every day, to Joy Bray. Where's Miss Joyce? Well, wherever she is, she's running things. To Tony Rich, Shannon Bailey, Emily Allred. They all do a magnificent job, and all of the staff at each place. We couldn't do anything without you. Well, thank you all for attending tonight's festivities, and we look forward to watching some very exciting chess over the next 2 weeks. And now I'll turn it back to Tony, I think.
Some of you attended the opening ceremony that we just had at Forest Park. We did it at the World's Fair Pavilion, that's the word. And at the World's Fair Pavilion, I had the great honor of introducing the chief curator of the World Chess Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, I was also mistaken in reading my remarks, and it wasn't her turn to speak. But I promise you it is this time. My counterpart at the World Chess Hall of Fame, the chief curator, Shannon Bailey.
Hi, everybody. It is such an honor to welcome all of you to this wonderful event in this fantastic St. Louis venue. I love this place. The World Chess Hall of Fame is celebrating our 11th year here in St. Louis, and we have our largest exhibition on view, Fischer-Spassky, The Match, Its Origin and Influence. It's celebrating Fischer's win over Boris Spassky 50 years ago. It not only looks at that match, but important events that happened to both Boris and Bobby before and after that, and that the impact that that win had on American chess that we are now all a part of. Tonight's event is always so special because we get to celebrate the newest inductees to the prestigious U.S. and World Chess Halls of Fame in front of potentially many of the next group of people being inducted. Congratulations to all of you who are being inducted tonight, and best of luck to all of you participating in the U.S. Championships. And thank you to the staff and Rex and Jeannie for all your support and all that you do for American chess.
U.S. Chess is the sanctioning body for chess in the United States. In fact, they are responsible for awarding titles like U.S. Champion, U.S. Junior Champion, U.S. Senior Champion, and so on. The St. Louis Chess Club submits a bid every year to U.S. Chess, requesting the privilege to host the championship events. And since 2009, we've been lucky and honored to host them right here in our hometown. The executive director of U.S. Chess, Carol Meyer, has been with the organization now for a number of years, and in that time, she has seen the relocation, as we all just found out, of U.S. Chess to St. Louis, and that is why I wear my St. Louis flag pin tonight instead of my U.S. Chess pin. So, without further ado, Executive Director Carol Meyer.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here, welcoming you to our new home here in St. Louis. As we prepared for this evening's opening ceremony, the great team at the World Chess Hall of Fame and at Silverback helped us put together a slideshow, which I think may be running behind me, to highlight the amazing chess history that St. Louis has. Some highlights of that history. 1886, the first official World Championship event. 1904, the 7th American Chess Congress took place in St. Louis, and during the World's Fair, the Masters Chess Tournament at the Congress was won by none other than Frank Marshall. There have been 2 U.S. Opens, 1941 and 1960, almost a couple years ago, but COVID had other plans. And the Western Chess Association Western Open took place here in 1904, which was the predecessor organization to U.S. Chess. As Tony and others have mentioned, the U.S. Championships have been held here since 2009, and in 2011, the World Chess Hall of Fame relocated to St. Louis. 2014, the U.S. Senate proclaimed that St. Louis is the chess capital of the United States, and in 2022, the U.S. Chess Executive Board basically mentioned that it was its intention to relocate the organization to St. Louis, and in August we were officially moved here, having vacated and sold our building in Crossville, Tennessee. The recent St. Louis chess activities would not have been possible without Dr. Jeannie and Rex Singfield at the Hall of Fame, and all they do to make chess a visible focal point for everyone both in the United States and abroad. We're proud to call St. Louis our home, and we look forward to being part of all the chess excitement available here in this great city moving forward. Best of luck to all the players over the next few weeks as you play to become the next U.S. champion. Thank you.
And now on behalf of Carol Meyer, it's my privilege to introduce you to the president of U.S. Chess, Randy Bauer.
So thank you. I'm really pleased to be here, and as many have already said, we're really pleased to be in St. Louis. This is truly the U.S. chess capital of the United States. The U.S. Senate has told us so. And we know it from all the activity that's been going on here. So on behalf of the 85,000 members of U.S. Chess, I'd like to thank Dr. Jeannie and Rex Singfield for their extreme generosity in support of both U.S. Chess and the U.S. Chess Championships. I'd also like to thank the St. Louis Chess Club, as has been mentioned before, in particular Joy Bray, Tony Rich, who jumped up to introduce me, and then also Shannon Bailey of the Chess Hall of Fame, because they all put an incredible amount of time and effort into these events, and they run so well, and they truly are the envy of the chess national championships in the rest of the world. So I've told this story of kind of how this began many times, but I always like to repeat it, how Rex and I were at dinner discussing a City of St. Louis finance study when the topic turned to chess. And I was on the executive board of U.S. Chess at the time, and as has been mentioned, that was quite a few years ago. And Rex told me about the chess club that he was in the process of building in St. Louis. And, you know, okay, well, that's great, the chess club. We have lots of those in lots of cities. And after dinner, he took me on a tour of it, and I was blown away because there's so much about it. The physical space itself, the surrounding area, the attention to detail, that's just unsurpassed in any other chess club in the United States or maybe even in the world. So Rex mentioned to me as we were doing the tour that maybe sometime he'd like to host a U.S. championship. And that caught my attention because we were looking at that time for a sponsor for the U.S. championship. And I said, well, you know, Rex, maybe that's something you'd like to look into. I'm not a very good poker player. He probably could already tell that I was very interested in that actually coming to pass. And when I got back to Des Moines, where I live, the next day, I made 2 phone calls. The first was to Jen Shahadi, who's been Rex's longtime chess coach. And, you know, kind of like, Jenny, was this a dream? And, you know, she assured me that no, Rex was the real deal. So then I made a second call, which was to the U.S. Chess executive director at the time, and said, you've got to get to St. Louis and you've got to meet with Rex's people. And he did. And the rest kind of is history. Since that point in time, the St. Louis Chess Club put in a bid, and they've been awarded the U.S. Championship every year since that time. And the events, as one who's attended this event many times and attended U.S. Championships before Dr. Jeannie and Rex Singfield started putting, you know, their support behind it, it's just night and day in terms of what this event is now. And I suspect that this year and years to come will be the best ever. So in the last few years, as part of U.S. chess leadership, we've noticed what's going on in St. Louis, and we want to be a part of it. We think this is the place where chess is growing and will continue to grow, and we can build on it. So we moved our headquarters, as has been mentioned several times in the last couple of months, and we're really excited to be here. I believe this is now not just our home, but our permanent home. And I feel the same way about this championship. And again, I want to thank Dr. Jeannie and Rex Singfield so much for their support, because I'm hopeful that not only will we have a permanent home here, but the U.S. Championship will also have a permanent home in St. Louis. And thank you all for being a part of this great event.
You know, for a long time I've said the chess club teaches you how to play chess, and the Hall of Fame teaches you why you should play chess. It's interesting to me that my arts and culture side is a little underdeveloped, I'll have to say. But what the World Chess Hall of Fame has brought to St. Louis is nothing short of amazing, really, because what it does is it brings chess to people who don't already play necessarily. People who maybe have some tangential connection to the game, but they have always felt, you know, that's not for me, that's for somebody else, I'm too intimidated to go do that. Emily Allred is the curator at the World Chess Hall of Fame, and she probably knows more about chess, certainly she knows more about chess history than I do. And in fact, if I look around the room here, I can probably see just a couple of folks who know a little bit more than she does about it. So the World Chess Hall of Fame is in great hands with curator Emily Allred.
Thank you all for being here. I've been fortunate enough to work on our annual inductions since about the time that I started here, and I've gotten to see a lot of wonderful people be inducted. This is one of my favorite events that we have every year because it's part of our core mission, which is to honor the game of chess and its greatest players. The World and U.S. Chess Hall of Fame inductions celebrate the careers of the best international and national players, writers, chess supporters, and other contributors to the game. And it's a really special time since we get to see all of the players in the championships, the people who are making chess history right now while we're celebrating the past. Last year we honored Dr. Jeannie Singfield and Rex Singfield, the St. Louis Chess Campus founders, for their contributions to the game. And then we also honored James Sherwin and Frank Brady. This year we'll be honoring the 2022 U.S. inductees and 2021 World inductees, and we're fortunate enough to have two of them here with us this year, Grandmaster Eugene Torre and Grandmaster James Tarjan. FIDE chooses the newest inductees to the World Chess Hall of Fame, while the new inductees for the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame are selected by the U.S. Chess Recognitions Committee, then confirmed by the U.S. Chess Trust. This year, Al Lawrence, the managing director of the U.S. Chess Trust, will be conducting tonight's inductions. He's been part of the Hall of Fame since its beginning. He was there when it was in the basement of the U.S. Chess Federation headquarters in New Windsor, New York. I hope that you'll enjoy tonight's evening and that you'll come to the World Chess Hall of Fame to learn a little bit more about the game's best players.
Good evening. I wasn't going to tell this story, but since Randy told his story again, about how the championships came to St. Louis. I want to tell how the World Chess Hall of Fame came to St. Louis. It has a history that did start in a basement in 1988. It was surrounded by supplies and inventory, and it was a modest room, but it taught me over time that starts count a lot. Well, it moved to several nice locations. In Miami was one, and we celebrated a lot of inductees there. And then the sponsoring company there fell on hard times, and it was no longer possible. I was no longer there. I was back in my home office in New York, and I was getting calls from people. They said things like, "What have you done with my Capablanca mementos?" They said it more threateningly than that. And I thought, I have to, you know, I'm not there anymore, but they're calling me, and this is a great cause. I need to do something about it. Who can I call? So I called Tony. I didn't know Rex. I'm not going to call Rex. So I called Tony, and I said, "Tony, do you think Rex would be interested in also having the World Chess Hall of Fame in St. Louis?" He says, "I don't know, Al, I'll check." And in a whirlwind of activity, we moved everything from storage to St. Louis. And Rex built another building right across the street. And that's how it came. And I assure you, the U.S. Chess Trust, U.S. Chess, and the whole U.S. chess community, and the world chess community, owes a lot to the Singfields, and we really appreciate it. So it's also a great honor for me to be here tonight, of course, and to do the inductions into the two different halls that are housed there. One is the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame, and we'll do that first, and then the World Chess Hall of Fame. Now, the World Chess Hall of Fame, I know Emily explained the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame and who decides on that, and it is a series of people, beginning with some very learned chess historians who specialize in different periods of chess. At the World Chess Hall of Fame, we didn't really have permission to do that until 2001. That was something that happened in Miami, where FIDE granted U.S. Chess Trust the right to have the one and only World Chess Hall of Fame, also housed with the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame. So that's the history of how these world buildings, these world offices came to the U.S. and to St. Louis. You'll see me use a special gavel tonight. It's this one. And it's a specially designed gavel by the World Chess Hall of Fame staff that honors our longtime U.S. Chess Trust president and former U.S. Chess president, Harold Winston. So we'll bang in our inductees with this gavel. Some people, actually tonight, waited a long time on a bus to get to the induction of the World Chess Hall of Fame. But here's a fellow that waited a lot longer. He's the one from the past. We do look back to the past and bring people into the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame as well. And his name is Daniel Willard Fiske. And he's quite possibly the most scholarly of all the inductees. He spoke and taught German and Swedish. I was looking to see if they played me off the stage like they do at the Academy Awards. He spoke German and taught German, Swedish, Icelandic, and even Persian at Cornell. He directed the very first university press in America there. He famously served as a librarian at Cornell. He also served as the General Secretary of the American Geographical Society. Really a sort of 19th century Renaissance man. Do we have a picture? There he is. Now, I like to tell one inside story about him. He graduated at Hamilton, from Hamilton College in the 1840s. It's just a few hours from where I now live in the New York State Hudson Valley. And I want you to look at his picture, and then I want you to realize that he was once young, and when he was a sophomore at Hamilton College, he was kicked out for a prank. I've often tried to find out the details of that prank that this mind would come up with to get kicked out of Hamilton College. Now, as far as chess, he was a seminal person in American chess. He organized and made the 1857 American Chess Congress a reality, and without that, you know, that was basically the forerunner of what's going to start happening tomorrow with the American Championship. And without that, most of us would never have heard of the first inductee into the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame, Paul Morphy, because he invited Paul Morphy to play in that tournament, and Morphy won it and went on to there to basically beat everybody in the world who would play him. So at this point, I will read the plaque as I go along of each inductee, and then we'll gavel him in. Daniel Willard Fiske, 1831-1904. Daniel Willard Fiske was a major pioneer in chess organization, journalism, literature, and historical preservation, whose influence is still felt today. He originated the idea of the nationwide American Chess Congress and helped to make it a reality in 1857. American chess star Paul Morphy would not have achieved more than local fame without him. Fiske's massive book on the event not only gives the game of the Congress, but also deals with the creation of American Chess Association, a precursor to today's U.S. chess, and the author's important role in standardizing the rules of chess. He was also arguably the most influential early U.S. chess journalist, earning renown through his magazine, The Chess Monthly, and newspaper column in the New York Saturday Press. On behalf of the trustees of the U.S. Chess Trust and with the authority granted to me, I hereby induct Daniel Willard Fiske into the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame. I spoke more about Fiske because he wasn't able to represent himself. Our next inductee into the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame is James Tarjan. And I guess librarians are dominating this segment of the proceedings because James Tarjan left chess to become a librarian after earning the GM title and playing in 5 straight Olympiads and several U.S. championships. He even qualified for the World Championship cycle, competing in the 1979 Riga Interzonal. But in 1984, he gave up chess completely. He swears he never played in a tournament for 29 years. He gave up chess completely to focus on being a librarian. 29 years later, he entered the U.S. Open in Orlando and finished only half a point out of first place. It wasn't long before he even defeated former world champ Vlad Kramnik. Keep in mind that when Jim quit chess, humans could still beat computers. Gratefully, Jim is here with us tonight, and I will read his plaque. James Tarjan, born 1952. Few have represented the United States in chess Olympiads with greater distinction than James Tarjan. He played 5 times from 1974 to 1982, winning 4 team, 1 gold, 3 bronze, and 3 individual, 2 gold and 1 bronze medals. His lifetime winning percentage of 75.5% places him equal second among Americans with Bobby Fischer and Arthur Dake. An active player from 1965 to his 1984 retirement, Tarjan returned to the game in 2014 with spectacular results. In 2017, he defeated former world champion Vladimir Krivnik, then ranked number 3 in the world at 28.03 FIDE, en route to a rating performance of 26.71. To date, the best ever result by an American player aged 65 or older. On behalf of the trustees of the U.S. Chess Trust and with the authority granted in me, I hereby induct James Tarjan into the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame.
Hi everybody. I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. The obvious thing first, it's a great thing for me to be here. There's a lot of water under the bridge. You know, a lot of you folks are from 2 generations after me. I know some of you folks go back with me, and especially those folks that go back with me know what this means to me. I thank all sorts of people, the Singfields, of course, for carrying the banner of chess so well. I'm gonna go back and just mention from long ago someone who I hope they won't mind if I call them their predecessors in a way, the Piotr-Gorskys, Mrs. P, who was, okay, I was a kid, about 13 or 14, over the hill by today's standards already, of course, as a chess prodigy. But my folks moved into Los Angeles, and there was a chess club there, the Hermann Steiner Chess Club, which was, you know, the chess world was kind of different in those days. It consisted primarily of old men like me. In those days, you'd go into the chess club, and I think it was true lots of places, and there'd be a bunch of old guys playing chess, and the phone would ring, and the guy would answer it. He'd yell out to the other guy, "Hey, it's your wife on the phone," you know, and the other guy would say, "Tell her I'm on the way home." You know, they were getting, the chess club was an escape for them from their families and even maybe their kids for a little while. It's a little hard to think of anybody now going to the chess club to escape kids. But that's the way it was in those days. And Mrs. Piotr-Gorsky, though, had a vision. She wanted to expand chess. She wanted to make one of her big things, I think she's most known for the big tournaments, but she wanted to bring you know, young people into chess. So she started what she called a student chess club at the Steiner Club, which was only Saturday mornings from 10 to 1. The old men were going to have to put up with us for those 3 hours. And I don't think they would have, I expect, except Mrs. P owned the club, and, you know, they didn't have much choice. So she started that club. I was one of the younger people at 13, and we were supposed to leave about 1 o'clock. But anyway, the rest is a lot of water under the bridge that I've seen. Now you go to a chess tournament, it looks completely different, in a lot of ways better. You know, you see the families there, you see all the kids there, and that's been a gradual thing, I think a really good thing. Anyway, I thank the chess people who gave me this honor. It's a club that I very much am proud to be a part of. And they're going to talk about my friend John Watson next. I wish he was here. His health wouldn't allow it. We're study partners, and he plays his best chess in his games with me, let me tell you that. Okay, thank you all. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, James. We will be able to hear from John, I believe, right, Emily? We actually do have a video in a minute, so we'll get to hear from him. Oh, and you know, each inductee gets this size plaque. This is James' plaque, James Tarzan plaque. And in the hall, they're displayed this size, and also electronically. If you haven't seen that, I presume most of you have, but if you haven't seen that, you really should go over and investigate how well they tell the history of chess. The next inductee is John Watson. John is a beloved figure. He is noted as a serious chess scholar, producing award-winning books translated into many languages and producing championship students. He was our very first U.S. national high school champion. He showed another side, and I remember this quite well. He showed another side to us when he produced his hysterical Chessman comic book series. John was educated as an engineer. In fact, a little trivia, the next time you're driving along in a valley and you're talking on your cell phone, and your cell phone sticks with you and doesn't drop the call, you can thank John and his partners for developing and patenting an algorithm that made that possible. So he's a multi-talented person. And, if you're 75, you forget gavels. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, on behalf of the trustees of the U.S. Chess Trust and with the authority granted to me, I hereby induct John Watson into the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame.
Good evening. The first and most important thing I want to say is that I'm incredibly grateful for this honor, and especially delighted to be inducted with Jim Tarjan, who I've gotten to know well over the past few years and I admire enormously. It's a bit overwhelming to be included with all these great players, many of them heroes of mine. Obviously, my playing achievements are not remotely comparable to most others in the hall, and I'm being recognized for my other contributions to chess, particularly as a lifelong writer and online contributor. I hope you can think of my selection as representing chess writers everywhere. So let me say a few words about chess writing. The lengthy tradition of chess publications in the forms of books and magazines formed the basis of my own love for chess as a child, and it has underpinned the popularity of chess throughout the game's existence. I think one thing I'd like to say that's really worth saying about chess writing is that going back centuries, it has always been a labor of love. When I was younger, all the best authors worked for a fraction of the minimum wage. We researched and copied materials by hand from libraries and personal collections. We spent hours upon hours coming up with new ideas and analyzing without engines or move checking. We laboriously typed, corrected, and retyped manuscripts without word processing. I don't know if anybody remembers whiteout. And we communicated and transferred material back and forth by snail mail. So we sometimes took years to complete a book. I think, especially at this point, I'm thinking about the best American writers like John Donaldson, Jeremy Silman, and Andy Soltis, who lived in this pre-Cambrian world. And of course, there were many others. Today, we've thankfully automated all of these processes, and what used to take months now takes days. I was therefore able to write books and articles even while being employed full-time as an electrical engineer. But even now, I think, the majority of chess writing is still done mainly for the love of it, because authors want to share their chess ideas and stories. And there are also unexpected rewards to chess writing. One of the great joys is having people contact you or come up to you at tournaments and tell you how inspired they were by a book or article that you wrote. I still get numerous emails from people all over the world, often with suggestions in some theoretical variation or other. Okay, so it's traditional at Hall of Fame ceremonies to thank people for the support and friendship that they've given one over the years. There are way too many people to mention, so I've decided to limit myself to just a few of my earliest influences and ones who have not necessarily gotten full attention or credit for their chess contributions. First, I want to thank Reverend Howard Oman, a master and Nebraska state champion. He ran the Omaha, Nebraska Chess Club for years, and he mentored me as an inexperienced player, driving me hundreds of miles to play in my first rated tournaments. The best player in my hometown Omaha in those years was John Thomas. John was the only active local player who knew about the latest chess literature and theoretical ideas. He generously took the time to teach me about chess. Most importantly, that there was more to the game than simply sacrificing all of your pieces in a mad attempt to mate the king. John, a university professor, became a very strong master and never stopped studying chess books while writing articles and commentary about chess right up to this day. The most remarkable chess personality in my journey was Chris Hendrickson, who gave to chess in innumerable ways, including promoting women's chess. She got me started with teaching, organizing tournaments, working with school kids, and volunteering for prison chess programs, among many other pursuits. She also created and drew the amazing Chessman comics upon which we collaborated. Chris was beloved by all and one of a kind. I owe special thanks to Eric Schiller, who patiently and generously gave me of his time and to guide me, and many other players, I should say, through the intricacies of the new computer chess world, including both software and hardware, long before it became user-friendly. Eric always found time to help people with any issue that was frustrating them. He was well known nationally as an organizer, teacher, and writer. Finally, thanks also to Sandro Leonori, who guided me through the world of online chess broadcasting, also at a very early stage of its development. He helped me to produce literally hundreds of chess interviews and lectures over the years. And of course, there are many other people I could mention, but I'll just leave it at that. Thank you all for listening and for continuing to support this wonderful game of ours.
You know, I don't want to shortchange John, so I want to read his plaque as well. John Watson, born 1951. John Watson is one of the greatest writers in the history of American chess. Among the many important books he has authored during the past 4 decades are The Groundbreaking Secrets of Modern Chess Strategy, 2002, and Chess Strategy in Action, 2003. He authored seminal works on the English opening and French defense. A frequent contributor to Chess Life since the 1970s, Watson is well known for his insightful book reviews. He was a pioneer in early internet journalism with weekly shows including Chess Talk with John Watson for the Internet Chess Club. An international master, Watson was the first U.S. national high school champion and a U.S. Chess Championship participant. He has a lifetime of experience in chess teaching and coaching. And that brings us to the end of the U.S. Chess Hall of Fame inductions. I should mention that Judith Holgar is one of the inductees, but is unable to make it, and so she will be inducted in a future ceremony here. Our first inductee for tonight is someone who's passed away, and so I'll say a few extra words because he's not here to speak for himself. And he has an amazing story. It's Miguel Najdorf. Mr. Najdorf was born in Warsaw and began playing chess at 12. Traveled to Buenos Aires in 1939 with the Polish national team for a tournament. 2 weeks after he arrived, Germany invaded Poland. He was unable to return safely to his family, who was Jewish, and stayed in Argentina. He thereby escaped the Holocaust, but he lost his wife, child, father, mother, and 4 brothers in concentration camps. I just want to tell one story about how he remembered them. In the 1940s, Mr. Najdorf, gave an exhibition of blindfold play, or play without the side of the board. He took on 45 players at one time, carrying all the games simultaneously in his head. He won 39, drew 4, lost 2. In 1972, he recalled in an interview why he did this. "I did this not as a stunt. I hoped that this exhibition would be reported throughout Germany, Poland, and Russia, and that some of my family might read about it and get in touch with me." But none did so. He became an Argentine citizen in 1944 and went on to be a leading tournament contender. I will read his plaque. Miguel Najdorf, 1910-1997. Miguel Najdorf, whose name is associated with one of the most famous openings in chess, was one of the top players in the world in the 1940s and 1950s. Born in Poland, he settled in Argentina after playing in the 1939 Buenos Aires Chess Olympiad. He was also one of the most successful performers in Olympiad history, winning 7 team, 4 silver and 3 bronze, and 4 individual medals, 3 gold and 1 silver, in 14 competitions over 4 decades. In 1947, he faced 45 opponents in blindfold chess, setting a record that stood until 2011. On behalf of FIDE, the International Chess Federation, and with the authority granted to me, I hereby induct Miguel Najdorf into the World Chess Hall of Fame. And finally tonight, we have a well-earned induction into the World Chess Hall of Fame. Grandmaster Eugene Torre. Eugene tells me that chess was very much a family affair. In fact, he once played in a team competition with his 6 brothers and as team members and his father as captain. In 1974, at 22 years old, Torre became the first Asian to earn the GM title. It was one of many firsts. He beat reigning world champion Anatoly Karpov in a game that's become part of Filipino chess history. Now we'll read his plaque. Eugene Torre, born in 1951. Philippine Grandmaster Eugene Torre has been a trailblazer for Asian chess for half a century, achieving a number of continental milestones, including first Grandmaster in 1974, first to defeat a reigning world champion, Anatoly Karpov, in 1976, and first to reach the candidate stage of the World Championship, 1982-1983. A member of the Philippine Olympiad team, a record 23 times. Torre won 3 individual medals on board 1, silver at Nice 1974, and bronze at Malta 1980 and Dubai 1986. He also won a bronze medal on board 3 at Baku 2016 at the age of 64. Torre was the official second of Bobby Fischer in his 1992 rematch with Boris Spassky. On behalf of FIDE, the International Chess Federation, and with the authority granted to me, I hereby induct Eugene Torre into the World Chess Hall of Fame.
A pleasant evening to Mr. Rex and Mrs. Jeannie Singfield, the benefactor and host of this event, to my fellow co-inductees, and to all chess lovers who are here today. This is my first time to be in the chess capital of the world, and it is with great honor to be among the distinguished people who are gathered here today. Chess has been an incredible blessing in my life, providing me with cherished memories and experiences that will remain with me forever. All the world champions, including those who were active in the game before I was born, became part of my life through their classical books and immortal games. I had the privilege of sharing memorable times with some of them. One such experience was with my good friend, Bobby Fischer, who finalized the rules of his invention while we were together in Hungary. 3 years later, we went to Buenos Aires for the first public demonstration of Bobby's Fischerandom. It is no exaggeration that when you are dealing with Bobby, many unexpected things could happen. Without going into all the details, the projected Fischerandom match between the champion of Argentina and myself was aborted. Although we did not become part of history, I'm happy to mention that my countryman, Grandmaster Wesley So, is the first and reigning Fischerandom world champion. My induction to the World Chess Hall of Fame is the defining moment of my chess career and is an affirmative validation of the profession I chose to pursue, and that my passion for chess would ultimately result in significant achievement. And now, my being an inductee to the Hall of Fame becomes a genuine source of pride and honor, an accolade I wish to share with my family, my country, and my fellow chess players throughout the world, the Asians in particular. I wish to convey my gratitude to various individuals and organizations. My humble achievements in chess would not have been possible without the moral support, encouraging influence, and material contributions of the many people and various organizations to whom I was fortunately connected. My sincere and heartfelt gratitude is owed, first and foremost, to my Creator for the gift of life and talent, to Mr. Rex and Mrs. Jeannie Singfield, benefactors of the Chess Hall of Fame events. Chess is very fortunate to have your genuine love and support for the game. Thank you very much. To FIDE for bringing all chess federations and players harmoniously together, with special thanks to former President Florencio Campomanes, whose contribution in promoting chess I personally witnessed. It is still vivid to me when, after our maiden friendship match with China in 1975, he whispered to me these prophetic words: "We have just awakened a sleeping giant." I can further attest to the great success of FIDE in promoting chess worldwide, because the Olympiad went from 60 participating teams in my first Olympiad in 1970 to 188 teams in 2022. The World Junior went from being held every 2 years to becoming a yearly competition. Then the all-important age group events and many more official FIDE tournaments were introduced, and the interest in chess multiplied with the advent of computer chess. But for FIDE to achieve such a great stride, it needed the helping hand of all sectors, encompassing the support of the government and private sectors. Exactly what is being exemplified here in St. Louis, with the backing of course, of the national federations. It was this kind of partnership that helped FIDE achieve its objective of popularizing chess worldwide. Thank you to all the organizers and sponsors of all the local and international tournaments, especially the ones I have played to, starting in the late 60s and up to the present. During the 70s, it was practically impossible for an Asian to become a grandmaster unless he campaigns for the title in an international tournament in Europe. Actually, there were tournaments, we were together with my friend James Tarjan. Also, my gratitude to the Philippine government for supporting various international events such as the 1978 World Championship held in Baguio and the 1992 World Chess Olympiad in Manila. To my chess federation, which supports me and continues to promote chess in our country. To my parents for providing all the support that guided me in the right direction, and to my siblings for the much-needed practice during my formative years when tournaments were a rarity. To Bobby Fischer, the great friendship we shared, and his trust in me as his second in the 1992 World Championship match with Morris-Suzuki. To all the chess colleagues I have encountered on the board, and to my chess fans for their unwavering support. To my many patrons and sponsors, both in the government and private sectors. And last but not the least, to my wife, the wind beneath my wings. Thank you, Marlene. My travel companion and source of inspiration, and to my only child, Nicole, and my grandchildren who made my life complete. I would also like to congratulate all my co-inductees. Sharing the accolade with you is truly an honor. Again, a million thanks to the hosts and organizers of World Chess Hall of Fame, especially to Mr. and Mrs. Singfield. In closing, I would like to share that it has greatly benefited me to apply what I've learned in chess to my everyday life. And that is to always protect and promote our mental king, physical king, and the most important of all, our spiritual king. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Well, it's hard to follow that. Eugene Torre truly is a legend in the game of chess. James Tarjan, Miguel Najdorf, all of our inductees tonight. Another round of applause for them. So I promise we'll be done very soon. This is the last phase of the opening ceremony, and it's the one that the players care about the most. This is the drawing of lots. We do the drawing of lots to determine the order in which the players will face each other and with which colors they will play. To do the honors, it's my privilege to be joined on the stage now by the chief arbiter of the 2022 U.S. Championship, Frank Guadalupe.
Good evening. First, I'd like to say that this is, I believe, my 7th U.S. Championship. The first one was in 2006 in St. Louis. And since the inception, as it has been said many times, in 2009 in St. Louis for the event, I have been here 6 times. So I love the city. I love the chess club, obviously. Maryland Avenue there is magnificent. I tell my friends about it who hasn't been in St. Louis. I love to walk every day in Forest Park. I did 5 miles today. But I came here at the invitation of Tony and Joy. Thank you so much. I'm very humble and thankful that you have invited me again. Of course, my thanks to Rex and Miss Jeannie for putting up such a wonderful event here, as many have said already. So as far as the players, we had a players meeting earlier today, or before getting here, not too far from here, at the U.S. Chess new office. So we went over all the details. For the rest of the audience, all I have to say is, as you know, I'm sure, we're going to have 14 players in the U.S. Championship and 14 players in the U.S. Women's Championship. So in all, we'll have 13 games between tomorrow and the 19th. They'll have 2 days off, Monday the 10th of October and Sunday the 16th of October. And if need be, we'll have a playoff on the 20th. If there's a tie in either championship or both, we'll have the playoff on the 20th. So the games start, obviously, you know, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And the rest, again, we covered during the players' meeting. So now what remains is to do the drawing of the lots. And I would like Chris Bird, who is the chief of the Women's Championship, to join me here. Chris? And of course, he's not going to join us here, but I'd like to acknowledge international arbiter, FIDE arbiter, working on international arbiter, Enrique Huerta. So he's our deputy for both events. So Chris, and I believe that Tony is going to call the players, and Chris and I are going to take turns doing the drawing of the lots for the players. So, Tony, all yours.
Okay, to celebrate the fact that we're here at the St. Louis Aquarium in Union Station, we have some very lovely gifts for the players this year. They are stuffed otters and stuffed sharks. If you want to see the real thing, by the way, the otters are over here. The sharks are just around the corner there. I swear the shark exhibit is totally cool. Definitely worth looking at. Okay, starting with the U.S. Women's Championship. The defending champion is not here this year, Carissa Yip, so we will go in rating order. We start with Grandmaster Irina Krush. The ladies will be drawing from the otters. The U.S. Championship will be drawing from the sharks. And if you would, when you come to draw your number, please come up on stage back here by Chris and Frank, and that way we can get some great photos of the front of you. And I'm sorry, what did Irina draw? Pairing number 13. Next up, International Master Anna Zatonskih. Got to go the long way, Anna, sorry. In the meantime, I can tell you, one of the very first U.S. Women's Championships when Anna was in St. Louis, I asked her to show me some chess puzzles, and that was a big mistake. You know, she showed me these puzzles. Some of them were easy and really fun, and I think I'm still trying to solve some of them. Anna's otter. Sorry, Chris. Number 1. Next up, Ashritha Eswaran. Ashritha approaches the table, carefully considers her options, and chooses pairing number 5. Next up, International Master Nazi Paikidze. I guess I could fill the dead air. Nazi Paikidze is a 2-time U.S. women's champion. Oh, I don't know what the rest said now. Number 12 for Nazi. Next up, Women's Grandmaster Begim Tokhirjonova. Begim chooses pairing number 6. Next, Women's Grandmaster Tatev Abrahamyan. Tatev comes on the stage, picks her otter, and it's number 2. Next up, the 2022 U.S. Girls Junior Champion, Women Grandmaster Jennifer Yu. Jennifer picks her otter. Show me. Number 14. She doesn't want to show me. Next up, the youngest competitor in the U.S. Women's Championship, FIDE Master Alice Lee. Alice has pairing number 10. Next, FIDE Master Liang. Liang approaches the stage, chooses otter number 8. Next, Women's Grandmaster Sabina Foiger. Sabina chooses pairing number 3. Next up, Women's Grandmaster Talia Cervantes. So you guys may notice, by the way, we have 14 players in the 2 events this year, and normally we do 12 players. We plan to keep the U.S. Championship in the fall. In order to catch up, we had an extra U.S. Junior and U.S. Open qualifier for the U.S. Championship, and then likewise for the women's section. And Talia chooses pairing number 7. Next up, Women's International Master Megan Lee. Megan chooses otter number 4. Next up, Women's International Master Rochelle Wu. So we've got 11 and 9 left. Hopefully one of those, yeah. Rochelle, number 11. And last but certainly not least, women's FIDE master Sophie Morris-Suzuki. Sophie played an amazing playoff in the U.S. Girls Junior Championship, just narrowly missing out this year. Sophie has pairing number 9. So to announce the round 1 pairings in the U.S. Women's Championship section, tomorrow starting at 1:30, the broadcast is delayed by 30 minutes. The broadcast will begin at 1:30. Pairings are Anna Zatonskih versus Jennifer Yu, Tatev Abrahamyan versus Irina Krush, Sabina Foiger versus Nazi Paikidze, Megan Lee versus Rochelle Wu, Ashrita Eswaran versus Alice Lee, Begum Tokhirjonova versus Sophie Morris-Suzuki, and Talia Cervantes versus Liang. All right, now we move on to the U.S. Championship section, and we'll begin with the defending U.S. champion Grandmaster Wesley So. Wesley picks his shark, and he's shark number 12. Next up, we have Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana. He's got a great new podcast, by the way, if you haven't checked it out. Tune into C Squared, pretty good. I haven't met a guest yet, but I'm hoping to get invited one day. He has pairing number 7. Next, Grandmaster Levon Aronian, playing in his first U.S. championship. Yeah. And Levon picks 14. Makes it easy. Next, Grandmaster Lenier Dominguez. By the way, I don't know if you guys realize, but a lot of these folks live in St. Louis. Fabi, Lenier, Ray Robson, Darius Swiercz, who am I forgetting? Oh, sorry, Levon Aronian, he's pretty good too. Of course, Talia Cervantes. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Number 8, thanks. Next up, Grandmaster Sam Shankland. Expedited approach, Sam picks number 6. Next, we have Grandmaster Jeffrey Xiong. And I guess we still like you even though you live in Texas. Jeffrey chooses pairing number 5. Next, we have Grandmaster Sam Sevian. Sam picks number 2. Next up, Grandmaster Hans Niemann. Hans thinks about it. Pairing number 11. Next, Grandmaster Ray Robson. Oh, I'm sorry, Ray, I forgot you in my St. Louis residence. Did I? Okay. Ray picks pairing number 9. Next up, Grandmaster Darius Swiercz. Daro picks number 10. Next, Grandmaster Alex Lenderman. Alex has pairing number 1. Next, the 2022 U.S. Junior Champion, Christopher Yu. Christopher has pairing number 4. Next, the 2022 U.S. Open champion, Moradiabadi. We have 3 and 13 left, so let's see which he gets. Elshan chooses pairing number 13. And just to keep us honest, the wild card from the event, Grandmaster Owonder Liang. Pairing number 3. So to announce the round 1 pairings in the U.S. Championship, we have Alex Lenderman versus Levon Aronian, Sam Sevian versus Elshan Moradiabadi, Owonder Liang versus Wesley So, Christopher Yu versus Hans Niemann, Jeffrey Xiong versus Darius Swiercz, Sam Shankland versus Ray Robson, and Fabiano Caruana versus Lenier Dominguez. Once again, I want to thank you all from the bottom of our heart at the St. Louis Chess Club, at the World Chess Hall of Fame. We work hard to make chess as good as we can, and thank you for helping us do it. I hope you have a great night, and don't forget to tune in tomorrow at 1:30 at uschesschamps.com for all the action. Thank you so much.